They are being made. We should prove ourselves once more able to defend our island home.
This is Voices to be Heard. Hello, I'm Carla Binder, and I'm on the hunt to find out the conclusion to this question that I've had in my mind since the day the UK government didn't allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote for the EU referendum. So, is it right that the government is not allowing 16 and 17-year-olds to have a voice in the matter of voting for their own country's future? It's a question that many want to be answered, as well as going into more depth about how much this generation and the public of the UK truly do know about the EU referendum. Our opinions have not been heard, only through the mouths of the UK government and journalists too. And now, I think, it's the public's turn.
Okay, so what is the EU referendum? On Thursday, the 23rd of June 2016, the UK will vote either to remain in or leave the EU. But why is a referendum being held? The UK Prime Minister David Cameron promised to hold an EU referendum if he had won the 2015 general election. My first stop was to meet the previous president of the student union at Canterbury College, Charlotte Butler.
Okay, do you think everyone's voices should be heard?
Yes. Yes. Everyone's entitled to their voice to be heard, and if they're not getting their voices heard, then something's seriously wrong.
How much do you know about the EU referendum?
I know enough to make my own decision about whether we leave or not, but I wish I knew more.
So, why did you let 16 and 17-year-olds vote for the student union elections?
So, under the Educational Act 1994, any union affiliated to a college or university has its own constitution, which sets the rules for how that union works.
What do you think would have been better for our generation, leaving the EU or not?
Not. I mean, students, if we do leave, students will be impacted. I mean, from the amount of tuition they pay, from being able to go abroad for years doing Erasmus programmes, to the courses available, to placements, everything will be impacted.
I found meeting up with Charlotte gave me more of an awareness about how much going out of the EU could affect students from across the world and in the UK too. But now I want to look further and ask more people their views on this subject.
Do you think if 16 and 17-year-olds were more educated about politics, do you think it could gain more employment to this sector?
Probably will because of the knowledge, but it probably won't.
And more people my age would be more interested if they were educated about it. I think it's important that we are aware of what's happening in our political system and know how we can make a change in the future.
I do think youngsters should be educated in our own country environment. After all, they are the future, and if they don't know from young what it's all about, the politics, I think it's difficult for them to choose who to vote for.
Would you vote for or against leaving the EU if you had the opportunity to vote?
If I had the opportunity to vote, I'd put British people first. I think we should leave the EU because we need to take control of our borders and set our own immigration policy.
At the moment, I'd vote for leaving the European Union. I just feel that the more I hear we need more about getting immigration, I think our environment will still be stable even if we leave the EU.
I would vote for because I would rather stay in rather than leaving. It doesn't seem very logical for the whole country. Like, I don't believe in the Leave campaign.
Do you think everyone's voices should be heard?
Yes.
Why do you think that?
Because we're in a country for a reason, and if you don't include everyone, it's not particularly fair, especially when you're at a certain age, like us. I think we need a vote because we're preparing for the rest of our lives.
I think at the end of the day, this is supposed to be a democratic England, and therefore I think everyone should have their say.
I think that not everyone should be able to express their views, such as those under 20. I think they've not been able to gain enough life experience, and they've just been able to express the views that people have told them. So their educators, their parents, the media.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you a video, and it's about the different perspectives of the governmental parties, and also whether they're for and against 16 and 17-year-olds being able to vote.
The choice is in your hands.
We're in favour of giving these young adults the right to vote in all elections. Now,
they do a credit to their generation and demonstrate they are ready to play a part in shaping their future. It's their future as much as ours which is at stake. I want to see young people in my constituency from all backgrounds daring to dream and back to succeed.
Why won't he let 16 and 17-year-olds vote?
On the issue of 16 and 17-year-olds, I believe this House should vote on that issue.
Really weird, because there will be 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds who voted in the Scottish referendum who now won't be allowed to vote in the European referendum.
when you're 16 and 17, you can join the armed forces, you can work, you can pay tax, you can marry. There's more young people to get involved in public and political life, and one of the ways to do that is to give them a vote in this referendum.
And the 16 and 17-year-olds of Scotland rose marvellously, magnificently to the occasion. 75% of them voted. They were an inspired part of the referendum process. So all this debate saying, oh, maybe they're not up to it, what a lot of nonsense. Unless, of course, the Conservatives want to argue that somehow English 16 and 17-year-olds are somehow less capable than Scottish 16 and 17-year-olds.
Whether 16 is the right age or 18 is the right age.
While I do think that there is a real debate to be heard on votes at 16 to 18-year-olds, I don't think that bringing that in for a referendum is the right time to do it.
My position is clear. I think we should stick with the current franchise at 18.
For why 16 and 17-year-olds should have the vote. My concern is that if they did, that would open the door to a whole load of other arguments. For example, should 16-year-olds be allowed to marry without parental consent? Should they be able to buy and consume alcohol? And if we don't have a grown-up discussion about this, then we are going to open the door for a very, very mixed picture.
So from you watching that video, what's your opinion on it now?
It's definitely given me a broader perspective, because it has opened up more questions if they were allowed to vote.
What's your view on it now?
I still feel the same. I still feel like we need a vote.
Questioning about the EU referendum and why 16 and 17-year-olds weren't allowed to vote for the EU referendum, it made me question, so why did they for the Scottish referendum? Isn't that exactly the same?
Do you think it is wrong that the government isn't letting 16 and 17-year-olds vote for their own country's future?
My perspective, and I'm sure from a few others, I think we just don't know enough really about politics, because we've just been told from other sources. We've not been able to gain our own knowledge and make up our own judgments about it.
Because they're at the right age of educating themselves as well.
Capable of having a vote?
Yes, I do think that they are capable of having a vote. I feel they should have their own say. After all, they can work, they can, do a lot of other things now, and I do feel they do have a right to vote.
Yeah, because it wasn't right. Because they're so aware that we're growing up and changing as 16 to 17-year-olds, they're still not giving us that chance of freedom.
I think you need to have life experience so you can go out, experience life and understand politics and make up your own judgment about it. And I think at a younger age, you've not been given the opportunity to be able to do so.
Overall, I've discovered the public's outlook on the EU referendum and whether 16 and 17-year-olds should vote. I've come to realise how much these individuals really will change this country's future. My view still stands. I want 16 and 17-year-olds to vote for the EU referendum. Although it's just around the corner, we 16 and 17-year-olds have to handle more responsibility than this generation has ever had. We need to take control of our future, instead of being like puppets and letting others take charge. We are the ones which will be affected by it most. I believe the UK government needs to also make a clear statement on what they really want for this country's future. No matter if you're able to vote or not, I pledge for you to stand up in what you believe in and take that chance.
So, if you had the opportunity to say a sentence to the UK government, what would you say?
I would say, get your stuff together before deciding to do a big thing.
If it's about the EU referendum, I say, come on, get your act together. You all need to talk to each other and talk to the public in an honest way.
Let people make their informed decisions. Don't put words in people's mouths. Give everyone the opportunity to have their say, and just stop screwing us over.
So what do you think?